So, Iceberg time. So this is some theories that we've come up with based on Veilguard about what could be in the next game, next comics, whatever they're going to do to continue this universe, if they continue this universe, or it's just some mysteries that we thought about that maybe are possibly connected to each other. So the iceberg works that at the top of the iceberg is more like shallow and it's like things that have a lot more like evidence to them based in the game, and the further down we go, the less evidence there is, and it's kind of more wild theories. So I'll go through it as we've done it and say what things we've kind of come up with. I've already forgotten one thing that I need to add to this that is at the very top. So I'm just going to say it at the start so I don't forget. But one of the first things that I thought of is that Mythal is a dragon. Mythal isn't a spirit. Mythal is a dragon. Now, we can mind some of the Veilguard stuff to find out that the caretaker was actually an ancient dragon before he was a spirit. And I think Mythal is actually a dragon and was actually a dragon before they were a spirit. And that's from when Flemeth says to Hawk asks, "Can I be a dragon?" And she, like, that's a cool trick about being a dragon. And Flemeth says, "Well, I already am a dragon." So I think Flemeth's a dragon. I think Flemeth was a dragon. I think Mythal's a dragon. So dragons. Dragons are going to be important in Dragon Age 5. They are. And Mythal's a dragon. Wow, dragons in Dragon Age, who would have guessed? Yeah, you'd think. But there's barely any dragons in Dragon Age. There's barely any dragons. Like, when you think of Inquisition, dragons don't really play a part of the plot in Dragon Age. So I know it sounds silly when I say dragons are going to be important in Dragon Age, but they haven't tied into the plot much. Like, when you actually think about it, other than they're archdemons, but then we know that archdemons were just pets of the Evanuris. So again, that's just elves. Everything comes back to elves, but I think the dragons are going to be important in their own right, which sounds silly. But yeah, it's kind of part of the plot if you're romancing Bull. True. I don't. Oh, I got a duck. Choo choo, motherfucker. True. But it's not part of like the integral overall story of the Dragon Age games. Like the plot and the universe hasn't really tied in to the TikToks had to say to dragons much. Okay, let me make this bigger and I will just A plot. Yeah. I will make it the A plot with theory, so help me God. It will be. I swear to God. Dragons are going to be like integral to the plot because of the Canary in 5, because Canary are going to be important, which comes to the first point of the actual. So Mythal's a dragon was one I needed to add to this and I've forgotten, but Mythal's a dragon. She just is. First one on here is Canary warriors were bred to fight the Devouring Storm. Or the Executors, because, right, which is what we're told. So this is why it's surface level. Rowan pretty much says this in the mission with Tash, that they were given dragon blood in order to have fire to fight against the enemies and they were fleeing the Devouring Storm. So I think that that's going to come back and be important. I think the Devouring Storm actually predates the Devouring Storm. I think predates the Veil, as we see a picture of it in one of the comic books. The Silent Grove comic shows a picture of dragons before the Veil, and within that there is a Devouring Storm. There is a tornado, and so I think the Canary Warriors were originally bred to fight this storm. The art behind you is so cool. Thanks! It's from the deluxe edition of the art book. And I love Solus. He is my favourite. Always and forever. You will never make me hate him. Not like meta, but it's Dragon Age.
You have no idea what you have done.
So I'm playing Mass Effect now, and we know that BioWare reuses. Do we think that yeah. So I think that the Canary were originally like the Krogan, and that they were bred to fight the Rachni, and the Rachni are closer to what I think the Executors are, because it ties into the point further down here about the Executors having a hive mind. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be like a mixture between the Rachni and the Reapers, is what I'm thinking the Executors might be similar to. I think they're going to have less, because the Rachni's more like the Flood from Halo for different people. Hey, Obsessed Fangirl. Solus is our wifey forever and ever. In Origins, Plymouth becomes a dragon if you try to kill her, and isn't Mythal possessing her then? Yeah, Mythal's possessing her then. Mythal is the only one who can shapeshift into a dragon. The only one who can shapeshift into a dragon that we have seen. Solus can turn into a wolfy boy, a wolf, but she's the only one who turns into a dragon, and she's got all this dragon iconography. All of it. She's up to something. Yeah, so anyway, I think the Canary are pretty much the Krogan, and they were bred to fight this enemy from the past. It's a wolf. Is Mythal possessing Morrigan? Yes. That's not Morrigan, people. I don't think that's Morrigan anymore. Like, that's all. Morrigan becomes a dragon in Inquisition if she drinks from the well. Yes. Wings on her statues, horns on her hairstyle. Yeah, she even makes Dragon Age 2 Plymouth. Dragon Age 2 Plymouth makes her hair into the same style as like canary horns. We'll come to this. We'll come to this. Anyway, so Canary, the next one, is Devouring Storm is consuming magic. Okay, so this is a little leap. So there's this green star. There's the green clouds of the Devouring Storm, okay? And when you look up Lyrium on the wiki, it talks about the emerald waters of the Fade. And so I think that it's linked to magic, and there's a mysterious substance that Anaris has that he says that he fears going back to the Eye, and I think that's the Eye of the Storm, and he has this substance which is consuming magic. So I think that the Devouring Storm is going to be consuming magic. Did you? Nope, isn't. She's too different. Morrigan would never agree to host without. The whole thing is weird. I don't trust. Don't trust that Morrigan. My hero Thrawn is heartbroken if Mythal is in control. I feel so sorry. Sorry, I'll come back watching you on Twitch. It's hard to see the stream on TikTok. Yeah, if it's easier to watch on Twitch, sorry guys, watch me on Twitch. It's Lady Crazy Dragon. Doesn't the Inquisitor inherit Mythal if they drink from the well? No. It's nothing to do with the well. It's to do with no matter who drinks from the well, Morrigan always accepts Mythal's fragment because of they visit her in her sleep or whatever, and she just accepts it because of her mother's regret of not seeing her daughter again, which feels like utter bullshit, to be perfectly honest. But all we get is Morrigan's perspective on that. We didn't see what happens. I don't trust it. Thank you, Chloe. Make the well relevant again. It's never going to be relevant again. Sorry, people. Okay, so Devouring Storm consumes magic. The next point is that Canary have dragon blood, and dragon blood is the blood of the world, which is also in the Silent Grove comic. Yavanna, who is bringing dragons back, says that Alistair has old blood, dragon blood, which is the blood of the world, and that's why I think that dragons are going to be important in the next game, because we've never, ever, ever developed on this. And Gator said that he had 5 games planned out. 5. So, and this was left as a thread, this dragon blood being the blood of the world thing, like, so long ago, that I feel like it's coming back. It's coming back now. So I think that blood of the world is used to protect our world, and that's why they use dragon blood to make Canary to fight the Devouring Storm. It's all linked, people. It's all linked. This entire stream is just me doing the post thing in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Is that why Merrick has magic dick? It is why Merrick has a magic dick. good memory, you get a gold star. Actual Morrigan would never, and actual Flemeth would never. The whole thing, that whole interaction fills me with rage. How fucked up would that be if she did make Mythal possess a soulless romanced Llewellyn? I hate that my brain made me think of that. Yeah, don't think about it too hard, because it also, if like Solus has the power of Mythal, that technically if Llewellyn drank from the well, he could have maybe controlled Llewellyn to come with her, and that's why she chooses to do it. That's not what happens. It's not what happens, but don't think about it too hard. But yeah, the whole well thing doesn't work, because Solus doesn't have the memories to be able to use the well. Morrigan doesn't have the power to be able to use the well, at least for now. I would have hated for my Llewellyn to have inherited Mythal. I've got to be honest. No. It would have been cool. I'd have just hated that. It always confused me how Alistair managed to become a Grey Warden if he had dragon blood. Yeah, I have no idea. Because he does hear the calling, so he is affected by it. But I'm guessing it's, I don't know. Can Mythal possess Morrigan without her consent? I'm confused. It says that it has the... Flemeth says to Morrigan that she has to have her consent in order to approve, but you can get people's consent by coercion. Do we think they're sticking with Gator's plan, though? Veilguard seems to have changed a lot. I think the Gator's plan is less... I think that most of what happened is what is Gator's plan. They just deviated from it a bit, based on what I've heard. But I've got to go with what we've got. And that dragon blood being the blood of the world, and then the Canary in Tash's mission talking about dragon blood again and bringing that back up again makes me feel like those things, that thread is going to carry on. So they probably have changed things, but I think there's certain threads that they've kept. So I'm gonna go with what we've got, because why not? It's just a bit of fun. I might be completely wrong, but we're gonna go with it. Maybe he just shows up later in Alistair and he suddenly isn't affected anymore. It might just be that Alistair, it takes like longer for his calling to come in and stuff like that. He might just be more resistant to it, because we know that dragons can be blighted. Eventually, like, we get archdemons that are blighted, but dragons have a natural resistance to the blight, as they're able to produce cysts that protects it from it spreading to the rest of the body. So even they aren't completely immune to the blight, but they are resistant. So we might see with Alistair it takes longer. So any warden that's getting dicked down by Alistair might be okay, or it might take a bit longer. The chats and speculation are part of the fun at this point. Yeah, exactly. That's all we can do. It's all just speculation and nonsense. But I quite like the nonsense. Gator leaving made me panic. I just hope that Gator left like a manual of what to do, and maybe the fact that they deviated from that with this, they might return back to what Gator wanted. There are some things that Gator has written that I don't personally like, and some of the plans that Gator had about certain characters, like Fenris, that I don't necessarily like. But I do think the overall plot and the story has definitely seen issues since Gator's left, but we'll see. Alistair has plot armor, exactly. Yeah, they're all fine. Don't worry about it. So the dragons were so around at the dawn of time. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Okay, so the next one on the surface, level 1, is the Void is a 4th dimension within the Fade. So, the Void, the Fade, the Abyss are all things that I've talked about on my page before, and I've done a diagram that shows, it's on the back of this, where the circles and squares and all this thing, but I think that the Veil... So the Veil cuts off Thedas from the Fade, but they talk about going to the deepest regions of the Fade, and Emmerich says about shadowy beings that you can only see within certain lights within the Fade, that he can sense other beings there that we can't see, and I think that those are beings from the Void. And I think those beings from the Void are linked to the colour orange. And it's when we're in the lighthouse, we can see flickers of this orange, and it's those parts of the void that's trying to get through. Because I have this whole separate color theory, so I think that the void is like this fourth dimensional space within the fade, and I can explain it on a two-dimensional thing with circles and squares. It's on my channel on TikTok. But yeah, so this is all going to come in. But it doesn't exist in a way that we can fully see it. But it is there. Because it's on a different dimension than we're on. I'm so glad we found people I can speculate about Dragon Age. I'm from Italy, by the way. Oh, glad! I'm glad to have you, Lily. If you're not in my Discord server, please join. I have a Discord server. All we do is talk about Dragon Age. We write fan fictions. We do art classes, all kinds of things. But yeah, it's a really lovely group of people who we just talk about Dragon Age. I talk a lot about colours and shapes. Hey guys, shapes and colours have been mentioned. Getting intradimensional for now the fourth time this week. Yeah, if you want to join the Discord server and you're on TikTok, send me a DM and I will send you the link after this chat. I don't like putting it fully on public on TikTok because there's too many people. Or if you come over to Twitch, it's currently pinned in our chat on Twitch, which is Lady Crazy Dragon. Okay, cool. Next one. So, Dragon Queen and the Green Dragons return. So this is the first underwater level. So, again, Silent Grove comic, I think is going to be really important. And I might be completely wrong, but if you need, I think you should all read the Silent Grove. There's Silent Grove until we sleep, and I've forgotten. It's a 3-part run with Isabella, Alistair, and Varric. And it's really good, but the Silent Grove talks a lot about dragons, and within the Silent Grove it talks about a dragon queen, and how Tash keeps mentioning that if there wouldn't be a dragon king, there'd be a dragon queen, and the dragon queen is linked to great dragons, which are in the Silent Grove, so I think the dragon queen is going to come back. Oh my god, Varric Tetra's wifey is here. Oh my god. Hey, Varric Tetra's wifey. When I thought Morrigan was gonna be Yavanna, yes! I changed my username. I'm no longer Crazy Dragon Lady. I'm Lady Crazy Dragon because that was taken on Twitch. So my username's updated. I'm desperate for World of Thedas Volume 3 also. Thanks, Sarah, about the Dragon Queen made her speechless and it greatly to come. Yeah, the Dragon Queen thing from Chloe ruined my mind. I've got to be completely honest, because we talked about, we made this iceberg also in my Discord. This was a community project that we worked on that was really fun. But yeah, so the Dragon's coming back, people. The Dragon Queen is coming back. I'm gonna die on this hill. This one comic, I think is so important. Next one is the Executors have been possessing people, and the Executors' forms are unstable. Are kind of linked. We'll talk about both of these. I think that Executors are kind of like Fade entities, but aren't. I think they're from the Void instead. And they possess people similar to spirits, and that's why we have in Inquisition, we have a war table mission, and we find if we ignore the strange chart markings, we see a bunch of our I think it's 3 outposts. All the people are taken, and we get a note saying that they have chosen to join a higher cause. And I think that is because they've chosen to become possessed, and they get possessed by the Executors, and they have agents for the Executors who are all different people as well. So there's something about that I feel is a thing. Those who speak the Silent Grove until we sleep. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Those who speak is the one I forgot. But that series of comics is great. Read those 3 comics. And the Fenris one. I don't think the Fenris one is relevant, but there's a dog in it, and Fenris is in it. Watch the devs. I think the devs might make Mythal the Dragon Queen. I think the devs might make Mythal the Dragon Queen. I think the devs might. Yep. That's gonna come up. Oh, I've got Mythal collecting Dragon Souls twice on this Iceberg. Oops. Oh, is this the wrong? Am I looking at the wrong Iceberg? Don't know. Um. mm, 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 mm. You have me when there's a dog in it. Exactly. We all like dogs. I have issues with the executors. Bit of a cop out. I need to see how they're gonna do the executors before I get completely annoyed about it. The overall impression that they've given isn't great. It's not great. I don't like it. But I need to see what influence they've actually had because all we've currently seen is a weird trailer that they could completely retcon and change how they're going to do it based on our reaction to it. Let's be completely honest. So I'm not gonna get annoyed about it until I see the next game. I would have changed. I personally would have changed it. That I don't know why they did that way. I would have just had a sea, a boat crossing the sea, and then a bunch of green clouds and a boat disappearing. That's all they needed to do. I don't know why they did it that way. And then like you had a bit of the debris rock up with the strange chart marking on it. Why they did it this way, I have no clue. But anyway. Oh yeah, so I also think that the executor's forms are unstable because we see an executor in one of the codex entries from the orbs that we collect, and in that the arm is stretching out towards or it's shifting and changing. 3 months, I'm finally awake and it's law time. Woo! Thanks for subscribing, Bryn. So I think that the executors have to possess people because their forms aren't fully stable. But I think that they're possessing people. And I don't know. Based on how the executors talk in those orbs, I think, or circles, I think that they have a hive mind kind of thing about like it's always we, like we have waited, we have listened, we have whispered. And so I'm thinking that they are hive-minded. Sorry, my dog is lying next to me and keeps yawning very loudly. So if you can hear it, I apologize. But yeah. And then the Anaris' mysterious substance is from the executors, and it's also from the void, and it can consume magic and lots of interesting things. If you haven't read the Anaris mysterious substance codexes, read those codexes. It mentions the word devour multiple times in the codex, and the fact that it changes, it's got like a briny smell, I'm sure he says, which again across the sea, there's something there. There's something there. So next level is the executors are fate or void beings. I just think they are. I haven't got evidence for this, but I want this to be like higher up because I just think they are. Like the downwards triangle and the two wavy lines we literally see on Solus's murals, and it said that Solus knows more about the executors than anyone, and he always draws downwards triangles and wavy lines, and the two wavy lines of the veil and the downwards triangles coming through that, and I think that they are from the Fade. I think that they're from the Fade, and I think the sea is the Fade for the most part. So I think beings across the sea is the Fade. The Forgotten, I have got a thing for the Forgotten ones, but on the next one, my actual theory for the Forgotten ones is that the Forgotten ones have tapped into the power of the Void rather than our executors that are beings from the Void. So I think that Inaris, because Inaris doesn't want to go back to the Eye of the Storm. He says, I will not go back. I think he tapped into something that he fully didn't understand. And he was a spirit like the Evanuris, and they tapped into the Blight. I think the Forgotten Ones during their war tapped into the Void instead and became corrupted by the Void. The Forgotten Ones in the current lore are not the Executors. People keep mixing those terms up. The Executors are a different set of people. The Forbidden Ones are a different set of people. The Forgotten Ones are a different set of people. Currently, it is speculation that they might all be the same. But the current lore is they are separate. But I think that there is a thing. Theory. All the Executors except Vargoth and Mythal were banished from Thedas before the Elven came by the Titans, and now the Titans are gone and the ancient Elven and Evanuris have dealt with. They're coming back to kill our races and take back Thedas and themselves. Could be. They could be. They're all black and smoky and void beings. Yes, it comes back to shapes and it all comes back to shapes and colours. I'm not saying the Executors aren't the Forgotten Ones. I'm not saying they're not, because it is on the thing. But there's nothing to back that up currently. Okay. Let me double check something. Okay, I had 2 icebergs saved and I'm super paranoid. I'm looking at the wrong one, but I think we're on the right one. If something doesn't match up with what I'm talking about, you tell me. Okay. Next one. Devouring Storm is a tool of the Executors. So the Executors logo looks like a cyclone in the middle of it. So that's it. Oh. That's the theory. That's why I think that it's a tool of the Executors, because it literally looks like their logo. I don't have a lot to back this up. But I think it is. And it's just the fact that the Devouring Storms are linked to chaos, to entropy. Entropy is linked to the cold, and when we get near the Executors and those orbs, they are said to also be cold in the codexes. So there's something about using a tornado to be able to move heat, and heat transfer is linked to entropy, which can be linked to chaos, which I think is linked to the Executors. It's there. It's there. It's subliminal messaging. Exactly. Do you think that Rook will continue to be the next protagonist since they've talked to the Executors? I don't think that Rook will be the next protagonist. I'm not saying it isn't possible. It definitely could be. But because one of the endings for Rook, which is unlikely for most people's canons, is that they can end up in the Fade with Solus, I don't think they'll do that. I know they did it with Mass Effect, but the plan for Mass Effect was to have a protagonist that lasted the 3 games. I know that Shepard can die at the end of 2. Most people don't have Shepard die at the end of 2. And they just didn't do it. I don't think it will be Rook again. I have a plan for what I think will happen in Dragon Age 5. I'll do a separate video on that. But yeah, completely off topic. Did you see that mod with Solus? Yes, I did see that mod with Solus. I think I've done 2 videos on that mod with Solus today. If it's the mod that I'm thinking of, and I've added that mod onto my game, which you will see as a treat at the end of me talking about the Iceberg. I don't want them to touch Solus, the Inquisitor, or Rook again either, to be perfectly honest. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Yeah, void spells are cold. So, okay. There's okay, to talk about the void, entropy, and the cold, if we look at the Evoker class, there was some marketing material that came out for the Evoker class that said about tapping into the power of the void, and that it's all ice magic. And then we have the Entropic Vortex spell, which is one of the Evoker spells, and it does cold damage, shockingly. And if you look up how entropy works from thermodynamics, it's all about the transfer of heat, and it is also about chaos, how like atoms are less organized, but there's also this heat transfer thing, so things become cold because of that transfer. It's like it's not entropy causing it to be cold. It's the like consequence of entropy, if that makes sense. Treat, no treat. Treat, exactly. I just want BioWare to give me Karen back. I would love that. I would love to see Karen again. I would love to see Karen again. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I would love to see Karen again. I have been in tinfoil mode with this stuff for a while in my own head, so if none of this makes sense, please ask me following questions, and I will answer it. Karen doesn't matter because that isn't Morrigan. That's Mythal. If Karen mattered, if that was Morrigan, Kieran would matter. The fact that Kieran doesn't matter, there is no way that that's Morrigan. I don't believe that. Anyway, it's not Morrigan. It's not Morrigan. That's not Anyway, we'll come back to it in a minute. Companions, I would love to see Vargoth and Kieran if he was born. I would love Kieran to come back. I just noticed we've saved Sola's pick from Fade Jail behind the couch. Yes, we did save Sola's from behind the couch. I feel like the executors are the storm if they can change forms. Oh, that's interesting. I missed that. I'm sorry. Someone, if I miss things in the chat, I do apologize. I'm bad at my job. I don't get paid for this. I'm shouting in agreement with you. Good. As you should. I'm always right. I'm not. I did get a lot of Veilguard right, though. I was pretty smug about the amount of the Veilguard plot that I got right. I played Inquisition with Kieran and without Kieran, and I much prefer Morrigan as a mother. She's a great mom. She is a good mom. Not bad at job. You give us lots of great content. Thanks, Bryn. Okay, cool. Right, where were we up to? Yeah, Devouring Storm is just a tool of the executors. It just is. I just feel it. I feel it in my soul, and also it's their logo. They made that logo a storm. Entropic forces leading to chaos and cold, and the fact that they can change forms and all this other stuff leading into a storm. It just makes sense. Okay, so Vargoth was an executor. Okay, so Vargoth, if through the data mined information that we have from Dragon Age the Veilguard, uses the same model as the executors. It's the same model. They changed the color scheme, but Vargoth, there is an executor model in the that they were data mined out, and it's Vargoth, and they just changed. It's like you change the homework and change it a little bit and see if anyone notices. So it could just be them reusing assets. It could be, but Vargoth isn't the spirit. There is none of the nervous system thing that we see from Vargoth. Vargoth is just this creature of shadow whose form isn't fully stable, and I think it's because he was an executor. And I also think it's really interesting that Vargoth is in the necropolis, right? And he collects landscapes, right? So he has an interest of seeing the world. And we do see him go to the lighthouse, okay? But I just think that if you're like interested in landscapes and you're in the necropolis in Navarra, which is completely landlocked, you are nowhere near the sea. If you were running from the executors, that's where you'd hide. There's no seas in Navarra. He's completely landlocked. But he collects landscapes. It means something. He was running for his life. Anyway, I've played I'm fascinated by Vargoth. I want to know more about him. Exactly. I think I'm onto something. I just want to see. I tried to upskirt Vargoth. I tried so hard to upskirt Vargoth, and it just didn't work. I'll try again. I think I just saw a like cloud. I tried to upskirt Anaris as well. There's a sentence. Exactly. This is what we do here. Follow me on Twitch. And I'm even more weird. I am fascinated. Oh, I looked behind the Anaris' mask. Were you not there, Chloe, when I saw Anaris' eyeballs? He's got a triangle behind his mask. That's what's behind Anaris' mask, a triangle. Oh yeah, you were there. I'm good. I was like, I thought you were there. I was there for the Inaris one. There's just void under there. Exactly. Mhm. Yes, Vargoth, the Vargoth fanfiction. This fandom does the world proud. I'm so glad to be a part of this fandom. Good work, everyone. A void I'd like to crawl into. Yeah, so I think that. Okay, so then the void held the blight is the next thing. So we know that Solus and Mythal seed away the blight at one point, and I think that, as well as my friend Chloe, think that that was sealed away in the void because it had to have a temporary prison, and I think that that's where Aundriel went to break into it, and she got driven crazy. So yeah, I think that I don't know if it meant that's how the executors get knowledge about the blight, is because it was like held in their domain, and it's why Solus might know more about it, is because he actually used it as one of the original prisons of the blight. Yep, the blight was in a cube in the art book, but then that cube's got to get put somewhere. They got to put that cube somewhere, right? Oh, right. Yes. You know what? You got me. You've got. I'm getting the shapes and I'm getting the colours. I'm getting the shapes and I'm getting the colours. You are right. The blight was in a cube in the art book, but I need to see if you can see this 1 second. I'm getting my shapes out. We're getting the shapes out. It's getting serious. If you look in the middle of this, this is a drawing of the Fade, and in the middle of this is a square. And so I think that's where they put the blight. So I think that is in a cube, it is in a box, and this is the box. This is the box that they kept it in. That's the box. That's it. The box had the blight. The blight was in the box. The box is the void, and it looks like an eye, people. It looks like an eye. Exactly. It looks like an eye. It looks like an eye. That's the eye of the storm. There's a box there. There's a box there. Blight. Hi, Celine. We're insane. Like, there's a box, and there's a box. These things, it means something. I'm not completely insane. This will be booming on YouTube. It won't. No one's gonna watch this. The eye. Anyway, the void is a cube shape, confirmed. Exactly, Varric Tethras Wifey. You know what we're talking about. I'm gonna just hang around with the dagger for a bit. I could use it as a pointing device. No, it's brilliant. It's not insanity. What's in the box? The void and the blight, both. 3D mana. Yeah, exactly. But this is a 4th dimensional space drawn on a 2-dimensional plane, so it doesn't make full sense. But this is what we're talking about. You got we're on multiple levels and dimensions here. This is what we want for a Sunday evening. Position for you to buy a whiteboard and use the dagger as a pointer. I want to get up. Can you 3D print an example for me? No. Okay, and then the last one is that the formless one is from the void. Again, formless, shadowy. It just makes sense. No time is a bad time for a Crazy Dragon Age talk. This is why I'm Lady Crazy Dragon, because I'm crazy about Dragon Age. I think they should let you work on the next game, honestly. I would do it justice. I agree. Someone let BioWare know. I mean, I would work so hard making all this shit they've put out here make sense. I'll make it make sense. Give me a chance. I'm just enjoying the chaos while I'm making the house. Sarah with the dagger somehow seems threatening. Yeah, where's Varric? No, I'm kidding. I can't keep making that joke. Okay, yeah, so the formless one's from the void. I mean, he doesn't have a form. It seems weird. If they're all spirits, or he touched the void too much, and it ties into the forbidden ones and the forgotten ones working too closely. Is everyone gonna leave? Am I gonna get thumbs down for the Barrett joke? I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. It's too soon. Is it too soon? Too soon. Sorry, guys. Sorry, that was too soon. TikTok does not appreciate my Barrett joke. Oh no. Anyway, the next one is oh, I think I have to move the thing up. I do. 1 second. Let me adjust for your viewing pleasure. Nope. That was the wrong button. Oh, you guys could not see that last thing that I was talking about on the old TikTok. Sorry, guys. You should be able to see these two though, and I'll remember for the next time that you can only see 2 squares, whereas Twitch can see 3. They get all the views. Dark humor is your jump. Good. It's okay. It's not you. It's me. I'm still in denial. Okay, cool. So, the next one has basically no. So all of the theories so far have some basis in reality of things that are in the game. We're now getting to the realm where they don't really. But we're gonna go with it with the scraps we've got. So. First one, Veil is not across the entire world. This is a theory that isn't this is a running theory from multiple sources. But the Veil, as it stands, there's talk of people going across the sea, and there's weird things based on Chantry expeditions of things across the sea and people going missing, and it's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle where we just don't know. And the fact that it's so strange that we can't really see, it almost feels like Thedas lives in a bubble. And so the theory is that the Veil is not across the entire world. Thedas is in a bubble, and that bubble is the Veil, and the rest of the world is more open to magic and chaos. In the Redemption ending, Solus leaves us the dagger, so he knows we're going to need it. That could be interesting. But apparently we could just whip up a fake one without being able to cut through enchantments in 2 weeks, whatever that means. Sorry. My hatred for the trick ending is well known across the planes. It's dumb. But that is interesting. I like to hope that they thought about that. I just don't think they did. I was just thinking you could trick Solus with this. Idiots. Anyway, Sarah's beef with the trick ending. I can't help it. I can't help my hatred. Cat stares at both daggers in full view of Solus. It's so dumb. Sorry. No, we will not get diverted. We're on track. Right. I've got. Is it on here twice? Did I do a typo on my thing? Yeah, sorry guys. It's so important I put it on here twice. Mythal is collecting dragon souls. Mythal is collecting dragon souls. Mythal is connected to dragons. Mythal is collecting dragon souls. So, what's the T? Mythal is collecting dragon souls. I think the trick ending had potential if they were smart enough to write an ending that actually tricked Solus, but they didn't. So Solus is smarter than the writers. Anyway, so Mythal is a dragon, was established earlier. I think we know that dragon the blood of dragons is the blood of the world, and we know that the Evernuris bound dragons in order to make their archdemons, okay? But we also know that when an archdemon is killed, it just makes a new one. It makes a brand new archdemon from a dark spawn, and it becomes a new dragon. And I think it's because the Evernuris they bound the dragon's souls. So we know that souls exist. Souls are the things that allow you to transfer through the Fade. In your dreams, it is your soul is the vessel that when you sleep is what's going through the Fade. So when you are in Origins doing that Fade mission, it is your soul that's in the Fade. Same with Hawk in with Fainreal. It's their soul that's transferring into the Fade. It's not them physically, which makes sense. So I think that they bound the dragon's actual souls, and that when the archdemons are killed, it's not a fragment of the Evernuris. It's that dragon soul that Mythal took into her of Euthrymiel. Because I think that dragons, we know the blood of the world, they're very powerful entities, and I think that Mythal's collecting them like freaking Pokemon. If only they said Harding or Volta ever mentioned Sandal. Yeah, if Sandal made the Lyrium Dagger, I'd believe it, but at this point, it's like they just got it from Rook's Copper. Sandal is disgusting that was missing from the game, 100%. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, so I think Mythal is collapsing Dragon Cells, starting with Dumat. And I think it's because of this force from the Devouring Storm. Okay, Forgotten Ones are Executors. So this is a theory that it was in my server. I'm more team that they are agents of the Executors, or they've tapped into the same power as the Executors, but there is a theory that they are the Executors. So they have a lot of triangles on Anaris also. Chloe, have you got anything to back up the Forgotten Ones are Executors theory? This was a theory in my server. It was a theory in the server. Someone said this, so I wrote it down. I don't gatekeep. It could be true. We're talking nonsense. Yes, Anaris is lying. Anaris is an Executor. Anaris wears a mask. Anyone he's all shadowy, it is equally as likely that instead of using the power of the Void, he is a person of the Void. Your people are people. The way that yes, Chloe's right, the way that he talks, he's clearly hiding something, and it could be that he's an Executor. It could be he's an Executor. It could be. I support this theory, endorsed by Sarah. Yeah, Anaris was so sus. As sus as Ilario. Awful. What is that about? Anyway, my beef with the crows will never end. They got sent the deluxe edition of the game and used the dagger. Exactly. That's what it feels like. Okay, and the Canary are the children of Elganan and Mythal. Canary ears look the same as Elganan's ears. That's just a fact. His ears don't look fully elven. They look more like Canary ears. And Mythal is a dragon. We already know Mythal is a dragon. I agree. I think the Forgotten One are regular spirits. I think it's less likely, which is why it's quite far down our iceberg, is the Forgotten Ones are the Executors. So it's, again, these are just theories. It might not. It might be. It might not be. All we know about the Forgotten Ones is there were spirits that were Executors are void spirits, if such a thing is possible. We think so. We don't know, though. we think that, and I agree. But currently we don't know. We just know that there are beings from the Fade that Emmerich even says himself that there are beings from the Fade that aren't exactly spirits. They are something else, and one of them is called It's got Anaris in the name. And it's in a codex entry from the lighthouse, and it says about defending the lighthouse from this something Anaris, and it's a being that we don't know. So, were Forgotten Ones or Executors ever mentioned in the other games? Yes, the Forgotten Ones were mentioned by the Dalish. The Forgotten Ones always existed as a pantheon that were the opposition to the creators. So you had the creators that were the Evanuris, the good gods, and then the Forgotten Ones were like the evil pantheon version, is what the Dalish believed. And then after that, we find out we get a codex entry from Gelderan that says about after your pride consumes you, that he will rise up and take the place instead of the Evanuris, and like may Aundriel's spear break and all that kind of jazz. And we also have a story of the Forgotten Ones in the Masked Empire when Felasan speaks about a story of Anaris and Aundriel both hunting Fenharel. So they were definitely something and linked. And I think that they were also just regular spirits. But there is a chance it could be linked, especially with what Anaris says about going back through the eye. I cannot return to the eye. Sounds like it's Eye of the Storm, linked to Devouring Storm, linked to the Executors, linked to the Void. So it is possible that they could be a different entity. I can believe the center of the storm is a path to the void, though. I think that's the Executor's homeland. Yeah, I think it's the same. Yeah, I think the same. We'll get there. Next one is... Oh, yeah. So, Canary, Elganan, and Mythal's children. If you speak to the fragment of Mythal that's killed, she says that the Canary predate or didn't exist when she was there, and they're always taught about being like half-breeds and like weird experiments, but I think it was Mythal who, after she was killed, one of the vessels of Mythal, we know Yavanna was making the dragons come back. What if one of the other fragments was making Canary using Elganan DNA? I don't know. It's just weird that Elganan has the same ears as Canary. It's weird. And they have dragon blood, which is linked to Mythal. They could still be one of Gilanane's experiments that was kept hidden from Mythal, because we know that the Evanuris were doing weird things. But I don't know. There's just this connection with dragons and Mythal that it seems too suspicious that we're now getting fire-breathing, dragon blood-fueled Canary. I just want to blame Mythal. You know how I know I didn't like Veilguard? Best part of the game for me. The Inquisitor and Solus. I mean, Solus is the best part of the game for me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dragon Age 2 Flemeth has the same hair as Canary Horns. There's a link there. I'll die on this hill. Yes, Helenaris. Helenaris were the entities that aren't spirits, but it's weird that it's got Anaris in the name, so it's possible that they weren't exactly the same. So like she replaced her actual kids with Aundriel and rest of the Evanuris essentially. Yeah, and it's interesting that in the Dalish tales tend to be almost right. So the fact that Elganan is known as the All-Father and Mythal is known as the Mother, and in her mosaic she's like holding these children. I just think there's something there. But again, it's not based on a lot, so it's quite far down the iceberg. There's a lot of theories here. I can't wait to find out what's up with Parvol and how come both humans and Canary come from that. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for Dragon Age 5 to find out more Canary lore. We need Canary. I think Canary lore is going to be such a big part of any future Dragon Age stuff. I want there to be Evanuris prequel comics or books, whatever, but for the future of the game and going forward, Canary, definitely. One sec, just got to rehydrate. Okay, so Executors are across the Vulture Sea. So I think that the Executors are Fade beings, but I do think that they have bases in Thedas now, and I think one of those bases is across the Vulture Sea. as there's a codex entry in Trespasser that talks about the Vulture Sea and how a dwarf comes from there and is buying a shed load of lyrium. A shed load of lyrium. And he talks about how it's just supposed to be an interesting place with let me I can get the codex up if we want. I could have prepared this, didn't. But yeah, when you it's in the Trespasser. The Trespasser as it is really interests me because I think it really sets the tone for where they were going in the game. So it really makes me interested to see how many like future things that we can get from that. Okay, so it was a moldy journal is the codex. And it says mold and rot have eaten. Oh, I can. Should I put this on stream? I'm just gonna read it. You can trust me. Mold and rot have eaten most of the pages of this book, remaining vellum is covered in spiky handwriting with spelling that is either archaic, wildly idiosyncratic, or both. Saw yachts cross the Volca that which daggeth souls down. The writing it's written like broken up English, so it's not quite right. But he saw someone come across the vulture, that which drags souls down to the brine dark. So across the Vulture Sea, it drags people down into the dark because it's dangerous to go across the sea. The elven which pulled me grip up from my ends is last of his kind, and I made it known elven lives south-like, but he says what would not be what was. And I said that's ever true, and laughed like. Come dark, he showed me a mirror deep, strange, and alluvian, sworn to been in his family for, and then it carries on. But yeah, it's just a weird codex, and it might have just been put in there for fun. But I think that the fact that the Vulture Sea is mentioned in Trespasser, I think we're gonna find stuff over there. I might be wrong, but it's suspicious. It's suspicious. Hey, Kylo. Do. Oh, I had the right thing open. Hey, Fluffy. So yeah, Volcacy. Do. The next one is Eye of the Storm is a path to the void. Do I have to explain this? If it's suspicious, it's in the Iceberg. Do I have to explain the Eye of the Storm being a path to the void? It's there. But I do think that the green clouds are the devouring storm, that when we see them, that when we get to the Eye of the Storm, the devouring storm is like sucking things up into the void. And I think it's all about the transfer of energy, and it's the transfer of magic. And I think that the executors want magic. I think that's what they're after. They're after magic. The diagram is law. Wrong side. This side. Okay, and I think we're going to see another Witch of the Wilds. I think that Flemeth, Mythal, when I catch you, Mythal, set up a base across the sea, and I think we're going to see another Witch of the Wilds, and they have been continuing to try and bring dragons back across the sea away from, the constant threat of blights. Traders came across the sea from the Vulture Sea, but their home could never be found. I forget which codex it is. Ooh, is it in a Veilguard one too? I did not know that. That is exciting. That is exciting, Boy Racer. I will look that. Oh. 1 minute. Let me look for this. One sec. Talk amongst yourselves. 1 sec. Which bracket would it be? I have not found all the codexes for Veilguard yet, but the wiki does have most of them. So I'm going quickly. Ah, I got it straight away. Got it straight away. So in the codex that talks about from oh my god, there's a codex called Beyond the Sea. There's a codex called Beyond the Sea. I forgot this codex existed, people. There's a codex called Beyond the Sea written by Emmerich. Written by Emmerich. And it says there was some trade between the city of Lash and the Volsci during the Black Age, all one-sided. Our attempts to cross the Vulture Sea to the Volsci homeland were met with failure. There are also legends of expeditions to the Amaranth to the east, but they were muddled and contradictory. Some claim it is untouched, verdant paradise. Others have reported settlements made of crystal obsidian without a single living soul inhabiting them. Vulture Sea mentioned! Vulture Sea mentioned! Thank you! Amazing. Amazing. I'm always right. That is a good. That is a good one. That is a good codex. I enjoyed that codex. I'm gonna put it in the server for later. Do. Oh yeah, I think I remember that one. Talking, blah blah blah. Is it in Remain? Crowdsourcing codex entries is my favorite pastime. Hopefully we will no longer see Morrigan. I vastly disagree with that, Fluffy. I'm so sorry. My entire basis is that we will see Morrigan again, but it's not Morrigan. Thanks, Sam. Oh yeah, I just got in my current Emmerich Banser playthrough. Oh, Emmerich's so good. Also, an empty city is the bones of a good meal or something. Is an empty city is a bones of a good. Oh my god, that's terrifying. Oh, that's a good no. I need to play all the games and read all the damn books again. Yes, you do. It is my fault. I'm always to blame. If there's obsidian, that means dragons. Excellent point. Hey, Curiosa, I saw you joined. No pressure. I just saw your name. They're eating everything. They're eating everything. It's magic. They want energy and magic. Anyway. Hello, fellow fanatics. I'm finally doing my chores and listening to you all. Good. Thanks for being in. Okay, where are we up to? So, the storm is a path to the void. I just think it is. I think that the void, they need all this stuff going into the void. Also, do I DM you? Yes, please DM me here on TikTok and I will send you the Discord link. If you don't hear, you know what? I'm gonna put it in, I'll put it in the TikTok live, I'll put it in the TikTok live chat channel. And you guys can just join from there in case there's any problems. And if bad people join, we'll just kick them. But there's the Discord link. I love Treviso too. I'm always gonna save it. I normally don't put it in TikTok Live because it's less curated than Twitch, but fuck it, TikTok's going, and I want to keep people. I'll keep in contact with people anyway. Join my Discord server. All we do is sit around and talk about Dragon Age, and we make lunatic icebergs. Okay, so another Witch of the Wild appears, Yavanna. I don't think Yavanna's dead. In the World of Thedas book, there is an entire section talking about Yavanna, and it talks about how there is this conspiracy theory about the Antivan queen being killed, Queen Madrigal. And she has like all those swords put through her. I think it's 7 swords, and it becomes named after the Steel Age from her. But that death is linked to the Executors. And Yavanna warns Queen Madrigal of this death and of her son's death. And Yavanna's linked to that. and thus linked to the Executors, which is a Witch of the Wilds being linked to the Executors, like pretty much directly. Now, it's later said that the Crows took credit for the murder, has nothing to do with the Executors. I call bullshit on that, and it also says in the World of Thedas entry for Yavanna that she's supposed to be dead, but a Witch of the Wilds does not die easily. So I don't think she's dead. I think she's going to come back, and I think that there is a base across the sea which Yavanna or a different Witch of the Wilds was also trying to bring dragons back, that was away from the place that keeps being fecking blighted, and I think we're going to find it. I'm glad I found other crazy people I can be crazy about Dragon Age with. That's what we do. Oh, I knew nothing about Discord until last year. Like, 6 months ago. I never used Discord at all. But now I'm there all the time. It's that you don't have to know. It's just a forum that's in an app, but it's just a forum space. But we do like little writing events and art events and all kinds of stuff. We just have like chill, cozy time when we all sit and write fan fiction together. It's honestly, I have the time of my life in this space, and everyone's really sweet. I'd never even started writing fan fiction if it wasn't for the Discord. It's lovely. But yeah, we have like threads and stuff like that because content. But we have a directory which explains where everything is. We recently just reorganized. I had to save Minrathous, couldn't let my boy Tarquin down. Oh, I'm never saving Minrathous again, but that's a different thing. Crow's trying to up their street cred. Exactly. In Dragon Age 2, Flemeth says to the Hawk and Co that she's an appointment to keep on flies north from Mount Sunder. I think she went to Yavanna and gave her immortality. That would be interesting. Everyone is so lovely on the server. They are. I want to see more Dorian writing events. I'll definitely try. I started to write fanfics because of Dragon Age. So, that is interesting. I couldn't even keep the save file. Dogtown on. I will never do it again. It's the whole spite thing. Never again. Oh, good. I'm glad you like this server, Obsessed Fangirl. Anyway, you should look in, if you get nervous and scared, you should look in the Chaos Pit, and then you'll see all the chaos. The server seems really friendly and nice, and you look in the Chaos Pit, everything's on fire. Anyway, so yeah, I think Witch of the Wilds is coming back. I just do. I have like some basis for this. And then I think that the scaled ones, I can't do an Iceberg and not mention the scaled ones. The scaled ones, I think, were an attempt to make the Canary. So the scaled ones we get a codex entry for in the Descent DLC, and it says how they come across the scaled ones, and they're completely scaled, dragon scales, and they do like this weird blood sacrifice to the statue that looks like it's made out of fire. So it seems like they worship fire, and I don't know, I get just this vibe that because it said that the Pentagast family grew scales when they were ingesting dragon blood, that I feel like these scaled ones were an attempt to make soldiers make things out of dragon blood, and the scaled ones were an attempt of those warriors, which ended up being the Canary. On fire is the best way. Me, I could never do that to spite Sarah. I pretend I do not see it. I didn't see what you said. Chaos Pit is respectful. Everyone's so enabling and lovely. Iabol said he thinks if there's something with the blood and that's why they look like that. I think they did too. It's just interesting. I don't know if they're just humans who were drinking dragon blood, elves that were drinking dragon blood. There was something that and the scaled ones were maybe dwarves linked to dragon blood, maybe because they're underground. There's something there. We're on the scaled ones. The scaled ones were an attempt to make the Canary. I think the scaled ones were taking dragon blood. Dragon blood was used to make the Canary. So I think that the scaled ones were made in a similar way. If I could drink. Yeah, the scaled ones got mentioned in Descent. Yeah. And they worship fire. They have claws for hands. They are scaled like when the Pentagast drink from Dragon Blood. So. Do. Moving it up for TikTok. Okay. I remembered to move up the iceberg for the TikTok crowd. I mean, if. Yeah, Canary have pointy ears, and we all know that scaled ones. We don't know what the scaled ones have yet. There is an image which we suspect is of a scaled one in Dirthaman's temple, and Dirthaman is the god of secrets. So, and I can send that picture of the scaled ones into the Discord server. It might not be the scaled ones. It could be something else. But in Dirthaman's temple, there is this image of a reptilian-looking type creature, which I think is the scaled ones. But again, speculation. Anyway, you have to check out the Discord server for that link. Ear theory. The scaled ones don't. That picture of those lizards, they don't have ears. They don't have pointy ears. No pointy ears. Watch them try and be clever with a twist, and it's dragons who drank too much human blood. I'd hate that. I'd hate that so much. I think it will continue. The lore will continue. Veilguard added some lore, but not loads of lore. Wait, do we think that they're like the Argonians in Skyrim? A bit. I don't know a lot about the lore of the Argonians in Skyrim, to be completely honest, though. Okay, can we see this one on the stream? Yeah, we can. Okay, so we're getting towards the end. And then we can actually play some Veilguard. So executors want to control the flow of magic. I've talked about this. I have nothing to base this on. It just makes sense. I have nothing, not a goddamn thing to base this on, other than the facts that when you when you put all the threads together, that it's a storm, that is a cyclone, and he doesn't want to go back to the eye. Anaris is using a substance that can devours magic, devouring storm magic, and a substance that can devour magic that is linked to the eye of a storm makes me feel like the devouring storm is consuming magic, and the devouring storm is a tool that the executors use to consume that magic, because I think that they want to come through. I feel like they've confirmed things but didn't want the applications of doing it would be. I mean, yes. Veilguard confirmed a bunch of lore but left me hungry. It did confirm some stuff. Yes, it did. I didn't hate the lore in Veilguard. I think it added more lore than Dragon Age 2. I don't think Dragon Age 2 actually adds that much like lore to the world, but that's not the point of Dragon Age 2. It's supposed to be more about how a person like lives in this world and their interactions with people and their connections to people, so you don't get that much new information about the world other than the Canary, which was great. Inquisition added so much lore, and but Veilguard compared to Inquisition doesn't add as much. It does confirm stuff, but then it's weird. Yeah, exactly. Dragon Age 2 was focused on how you feel within that world, which is why it works so well. Veilguard felt like it was nervous about confirming anything. It balanced it on the edge instead. It's because we didn't see anything. We get told a lot of information, but we don't see it, so it didn't feel satisfying. Like, we should have seen the memories and seen the creation of the veil and what that would have actually looked like, and it would have had more of an impact, and that's why we were left so hungry after it. Even though we're given all this information, we're told, we're not shown, and it feels unfulfilling. Okay, so I just think they do. It was Mythal all along. Okay, I'm in two minds with it was Mythal all along. I feel as though Mythal has been pulling the strings of a lot. Flemeth says it as herself that she nudges history when required. And I do think that Mythal believes that she is a benevolent force doing things for what is best for people. But as we know, and as we see with Solus, the road to hell is paved in good intentions. So what happens if what Mythal is done, what she's doing, the threads that she's pulled, are not what she expects to happen? What if things change? What if she is incorrect and makes a choice that she thinks is for the best, but other people disagree? Close to being a tyrant. So I think they won't be. I don't think they'll be brave enough to do it. But Morrigan's still going. I think Morrigan's coming back. If they do a Dragon Age 5, if Morrigan doesn't come back, I will be shocked. Shocked. But I don't think that's Morrigan. I think it's mostly Mythal. And we will find out if she's been pulling the strings as a good person or as a bad person. But she's the one who's bringing dragons back. I don't buy that wit. The witch is dead. She split herself and thought Morrigan was a threat. Yeah. You can't tell me she's not gone. I agree. Those memory mirrors felt like such a compromise. They were. They were a compromise. It was lazy. And the memory bubbles. We should have got 2 more memory bubbles. That was bullshit. I thought when we unlocked all of the lighthouse, the little office space was going to be another memory bubble. And we saw the lighthouse as it was in the past. No. Boring. Yeah, exactly. Instead of Agatha, it was Mythal all along. Always. But we'll see. Oh no, my computer's gonna turn itself off. Oh no, I don't know where my TV remote is. Oops. Right. Chloe, you have to write the dragons as celestial bodies thing in the chat, because this was your theory, and I can't remember it. Sorry guys, I need to find my TV remote because my TV is going to turn off. And I don't know where it is. Found it. Okay, I'm back. Okay, we're fine. A paragon is the wrong word. Paragon on the wrong path is such a dangerous thing in stories. Exactly. The lighthouse had a lot of potential. Yep, like a lot of things in this game, but it's fine. I can work with it. Intro is Morrigan coming out as Mythal. I think the intro of Dragon Age 5 is that we're on expedition sent out by the Lords of Fortune. The green clouds of the devouring storm comes in, and we are saved by Morrigan as she turns into a fucking dragon. That's how I start that game. Okay, so the next one is dragons as celestial bodies. Which was mostly okay. There's a big thing about the sun at the creation of the world, and we know that dragons were there before the veil was created, and it says that Elganon was formed from the sun meeting the land. But what if the sun instead? We know that dragons were there, dragonfire. Instead of it just being a spirit taking the earth, what if there was something that was connected to the sun, which was dragons? So not necessarily that they are a physical celestial body. However, there's 2 fucking suns. There's 2 moons. There's 2 moons. It's always suspicious when a place has 2 moons. There's a lot going on with astrolobes and the stars and with the star things in Dragon Age Inquisition, and the Evanuris are really into astrology. Dragons are the sun and the ears. The sun, fire, hot, burn the earth, dragons, 2 moons. It's suspicious. It's suspicious. It's suspicious. If it's suspicious, it goes on the iceberg. It's all very suspicious. I put that quote very deliberately. She probably thinks she is one. She thinks she is one. She thinks she's doing the right thing, which is why Morrigan thinks she's doing the right thing. Bullshit. Anyway, retribution. I fucking hate the Vader into benevolence. Anyway, a video for another day. Solus has a base across the sea. Now, this is just me hoping. I don't want to see Solus. That made total sense. 2 moons is not natural. Also, if Elkanan was the first, it could have made that stuff up to make himself look all high and mighty. I mean, that's true. Yeah. Solus has a base across the sea. So I just think, if you were Solus and you were fighting against, these powerful tyrants who are tapping into magic of the fecking blight, wouldn't you try and leave? Surely. So I think that he probably would try to have left and gone across the sea, and this is why Epla says that Solus knows more about the Executors than anyone else. And I think this is why. Again, I have nothing to back this up. This is all wild speculation, but I think that it might be because he tried to go across the sea himself and he survived. But there was a base over there, and I think we're going to find Solus' base in Dragon Age 5. I hope. I want that. I want that so much, because we know that Elganan was looking for Solus' archive spirit. So I think Solus has an archive spirit, but he kept it across the sea. And we're going to find it in Dragon Age 5, so Gareth David Lloyd can come back and voice the archive spirit, because I want that. I want Gareth back, but I don't want to see Solus again, so he can voice the archive spirit that's in the base across the sea, and that'll make me happy. If we found him randomly in his base across the sea in the next game, that'd be no, archive spirit. It's not him, it's an archive spirit. Again, Dalish stories say Fenrirel could hide between the gods and the Forgotten Ones. Yeah, exactly, Katie. You know what's up. Without any hints, we would if they could keep his appearance. There's a secret. I think there's something there. I think Solus puts everything in the fade. I didn't say that it was a physical. See, why not? Elkanar making a moon into a vanity project. Absolutely track. Solus' archive spirit. I think we're going to find it. Anyway, this is all nonsense. It's not nonsense. Speculation. Tricks the gods living outside the boundaries of the known world and society tracks, mythologically at the very least. Thanks, Dreadwolf! Thanks! I'm not just desperate to come up with a way that we can get Gareth back in this game. I won't do that. Please hire me, BioWare. There's nothing to stop Evanuris being Storm people, Andriel, both referred to in stormy terms. Andriel, there's a codex entry that talks about Andriel doing a sacrifice to help protect the people from enemies from across the sea. So I don't think that they were working with the Executors, but I think they were a threat even then. How do we make this happen? I don't know. I am going to write Dragon Age 5. I'm at least going to write my version of Dragon Age 5. It's mostly this. Iceberg. Gareth was amazing. His work was truly a highlight of Veilguard. Incredible voice actor. We can start a petition. They have no idea who I am. They don't know who I am. Yeah, because someone just send this Iceberg. I'll redo it because I made a typo. We just keep sending it to Epler, and I don't think Weeks is going to stay. If we could just keep sending it to Epler, that'd be great. What if we found Cole across the sea and have him as a companion? I have a right. I could tell. I have a plan for how to bring Cole back into Dragon Age 5. Let me. I have a plan. For that. Don't worry. I've got you. I've got you covered. Got you covered for that. Um, no, let me catch up on the chat. Sorry, guys. There's nothing to stop the Evan spin. Give the little wolf the archive spirit. Exactly. Doo-doo. He just likes to eat things. Doo-doo-doo. I don't want to see Solus again. I've got to be completely honest. We've got to a deep part, and it's going to sound crazy. It doesn't mean it is, though. What's it called? Gilderthamin. Anyone could create an archive, as I can understand. Verdathan. Oh yeah. The archive spirit that's in the Shattered Library. Yes, you're right. I wish they'd included Cole too in the Veilguard. We need to come back. Okay, so I'll leave the thing till the end. So Executor's masks can control people. So we see that Anaris uses a mask to control or to pass his emotions to Belara's brother. What's his name? Begins with a C. Why have I forgotten his name? Belara's brother's name will come to me, or someone will put it in the chat. Syrian! Thanks, guys! Syrian! Has a mask and he can feel Anaris' emotions. It's also really interesting that Syrian has red Valasleen, as there's a reference to Dalish that worship the Forgotten Ones in Dragon Age Origins having red Valasleen and attacking people. So the fact that he worships a Forgotten One and has red Valasleen is really interesting. But anyway, he has a mask where he can feel that emotion. And when I upskirted Anaris and looked at the mask that Anaris was wearing, he was wearing a mask with a downwards pointing arrow on the back of it that he was facing with his eyeballs. And we know that the Executors are wearing masks. What if they are using a mask like the one that's being used on Syrian, or it's one that can control people in a similar way? Bring back Fenris's lyrium mark. Yeah, and we know that you could put lyrium marks using that sarcophagus. What if that's a similar process? He did need more screen time. Yes, he did need more screen time without the mask on. True. Fenris's lyrium markings look like spirits. I think it was awakening that part of an elf that was more incorporeal, like a spirit was. And that's why he could phase through things, because spirits' forms are more incorporeal. So when they had those markings back on, it made them more into like a hybrid between spirits and having a form. And that's why he could phase through things. With, the fisting that he does. Okay. And then Executors of the Maker. It's more of a joke thing. Let's be completely honest. Okay. Executor are the Maker in the way that it's going to be that Solus is the Maker because of the things that they think the Maker has done is going to be a consequence of what the Executors put things on the path. So the reveal is someone in Dragon Age 5, I think, are going to say, this means the Executors are the Maker. Someone's going to say that. I don't necessarily mean they could be the Maker, but I think that that's going to be like the implication. And I feel it coming. I already don't like it, but I feel it coming. Something made spirits. Yeah. The Maker's first children are spirits. Yeah. I don't like it, but I feel like it's coming. Someone clip this and watch this in 10 years' time. Exactly. So yeah, so this is my theory, Iceberg. This is everything that I've got so far. Do you want to hear my theory for how we bring back Cole? I could tell you that if you want it. The Maker is the biggest question. Criffy said I saw the throne and it was empty and all that. Yeah, which doesn't make any sense. Because where were the Evaneris? Were they just sleeping? Were they sleepy boys? Yes, you want to know how I bring Cole back. Okay, so do you want to hear my basic plot summary for Dragon Age 5? I am going to do a TikTok video on this eventually, so you have to interact with that as well. But I'll tell you, I don't care. So... So we start Dragon Age 5, Sarah edition, Lady Crazy Dragon Edition. We are washed up on the coast in Ravine with no memories. Our character, no memories. You can pick whatever race you want. We don't have any memories of who we are, but we survived. All we remember are green storm clouds, and the ship that we were on is destroyed, and we wash up with 0 memories. Okay? We get found by an expedition of the Lords of Fortune, and they then are on an expedition to try and track one of their lost ships. They find us, and we're trying to help them find out what happened to us, where we came from, what's going on. On that ship is Isabella, and the Canary have been working with the Lords of Fortune to try and figure out this devouring storm threat. So Sten is working with Isabella to try and figure out this threat. And Morrigan is also helping them. And those are our 3 advisors. Morrigan, Sten, Isabella. Because we need an advisor from across the sea. Why would we not have Sten? We need an advisor who knows about magic and all the weirdness. Morrigan, and then we need a boat, Isabella. She's got a boat. Imagine if we get locked on this to find the Canary origin for Dragon Age 5 as we explode across the sea. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to get. So, that happens. We go across the sea, and as we're travelling through, we get attacked by the storm again. Morrigan turns into a giant fucking dragon and uses firepower to get rid of the storm and says we need more dragons and she might know where we can find some. She doesn't tell us that information earlier because it's Morrigan and she never does. And so we go across the sea to try and find this out. While we're going across the sea, we find Cole, because Cole has found some spirits that Cole knows has gone missing. So Cole's trying to find out what happened to his friends. Now, this works if Cole was a spirit or Cole wasn't a spirit. He still had friends that were also spirits. So Cole is a quest giver who tells us that spirits are going missing. And then we find out that the executors are draining the magic out of spirits. Hey, Wen. So Cole helps us to find these spirits. He's not an advisor, but he just hangs around so we can still talk to him. So Cole helps, so we go and try and track down what happens to these spirits, and we find out that the spirits are getting the magic. Because spirits are entities of raw magic that also reflect raw emotion. But they are made up of magic, so why wouldn't you use them for magic? So we find out they're getting destroyed, and one of the spirits that we end up saving from this is Imshale, so we can have Imshale as a companion, because I'm desperate for that. And that's basically the plot, is we're trying to stop the Devouring Storm from taking over all the magic of Thedas, including the Titans. They've also latched onto a Titan as well. So we get a mage dwarf as one of our companions. We get Imshale as one of our companions. A Canary Spy as one of our companions. Again, our Rivani Seer as one of our companions. That's what I've got so far. And yeah. That's the basic plot, is executors trying to get the magic in order to make themselves corporeal in this world without needing possession and without needing approval of things. So they need magic to go through into the void so they can come through. And that's why the veil had to stay up, because then they could funnel through the magic. Otherwise it was too chaotic. Otherwise it makes no sense of why the veil had to stay up. That's what I've got. That's what I've got so far. I will do a video. Eventually, maybe. Imagine if we get lots of weight for Canary Origin. I don't want Kingdom Hearts Dragon Age, but sometimes you gotta wish for soul. The canon side gave some more. If we could explore some smaller things, it wouldn't come up in the big game. If Imshale comes back, he must make a reference to a promise Threat gave him in... Yes, I'd love that. I'd love that. I think Dagner should gain magic. Homekill is already obsessed with it. That would be good. Oh, it sets 10 years after this. We need a boat. Isabella. Exactly. Love. What? Isabella has a ship. She also has dealings with the Canary. She's good. She's good in a crisis. Cole will be a Fade Scout, exactly. An Avaran Lich Lord hiding as a human mage for a companion. That would be good. Oh, I'd like Vorgoth as a companion. I'd like Vorgoth to come back as a companion, and I'd like the Riveni seer to be an elf. So we got some elf lore from other cultures, which would be good. I don't think she would. I don't think Isabella would like it now. I think she'd be there. I heard that. Not true. Do. It kind of be funny if we found a full set of barracks books across the sea just as chaotic. That's in Solus's house. Cool. Aces. Well, that's what I've got.